Welcome to Time of Death. This video is for informational purposes and in no way meant to glorify or condone violence. In today's video, we'll be discussing the murders of Roy Roger Torres, who was shot and killed in the 1400 block of Volney Drive in East LA, and Keith Boyer, who was shot and killed at the intersection of Colima Road and Mar Vista Street in Whittier, according to LA County coroner records. Michael Christopher Mejia was subsequently arrested and charged with the murders. The following is the evidence at trial. Victim Roy Torres lived in his aunt's converted garage with his girlfriend Pineda. Defendant was victim Torres' friend, as well as his second cousin once removed. Victim Torres owned a silver Dodge Stratus. In the evening of February 19, 2017, Pineda's cousin came over. Pineda and her cousin had planned a night out and left in victim Torres' car. Torres stayed home. After about 2 hours, Torres began texting Pineda that he wanted his car back. Pineda eventually returned home and parked on the street in front of the garage. Pineda and her cousin walked into the garage and found victim Torres and defendant talking. The mood was awkward. Defendant said Torres chose the other side, then took off his shirt, revealing a gun tucked into his waistband. Pineda knew something was up. In the early morning on February 20th, 2017, defendant told Pineda and her cousin to leave, but Pineda refused. Victim Torres looked worried. Defendant suggested they all have a shot of liquor, then took out a gun and pointed it at the victim's head and began counting down from 10. Defendant then shot him on the count of 8. Defendant turned to Pineda and told her to give him the car keys. Feeling like she had no choice, Pineda complied. Defendant left in the Dodge, and Pineda's cousin called 911. When officers responded to the scene, they found Pineda and her cousin crying and distraught. There was a used shell casing on the couch. Victim Torres was lying on the ground with a gunshot wound to the right eye. He was later pronounced dead from the wound. Several hours later, while driving victim Torres' car, defendant collided with another vehicle at a stoplight. Police officers Patrick Hazel and Keith Boyer responded to the accident. Officer Hazel ran the Dodge's license plate and discovered it had been reported stolen. When Officer Boyer attempted to arrest defendant, however, defendant made a sudden movement and shot Officer Hazel in the abdomen. Defendant then engaged in a shootout with the officers, ultimately shooting and killing Officer Boyer. By amended information filed August 4th, 2021, defendant was charged with murder of a peace officer with special circumstances of multiple murder, avoiding and preventing lawful arrest, killing a peace officer for the benefit of a criminal street gang, attempted murder of a peace officer for the benefit of a criminal street gang, murder with special circumstances, carjacking, and possession of a firearm by a felon. Defendant challenged the gang enhancements attached to counts 1 and 2, the murder of Officer Boyer and the attempted murder of Officer Hazel. For example, the gang expert opined that the shooting at officers without provocation would raise the stature of the gang. It's showing rival gang members that they're willing to kill not only people, but a police officer, and it gives their gang notoriety. It also, to the general public at large, is showing them that they're willing to kill for their gang. There is overwhelming evidence showing that the murder of Officer Boyer and the attempted murder of Officer Hazel benefited the Winter Gardens gang. Following the trial, the jury convicted defendant of 2 counts of special circumstance murder, as well as attempted murder and carjacking, with various gun and gang enhancements. The court sentenced defendant to 2 terms of life without the possibility of parole, plus 149 years to life. Roy Roger Torres was 47 years old at the time of death. Keith Boyer was 53 years old at the time of death.